Hey man, let's drop all the illusions for a second and talk about something most guys refuse to admit until it's too late. You can buy her roses, take her on trips, support her ambitions, solve her issues, and hand her the world, but none of that promises loyalty. None of that secures affection. None of that anchors her soul. Because women aren't committed to your generosity. They're not attached to your good intentions. They're not bound to the things you provide. Women are devoted to one thing and one thing only: how you make them feel. Not every now and then, not occasionally, but consistently, intensely, emotionally, internally. That's the truth most nice guys never want to face. And it's the same truth that keeps breaking hearts silently. You can be the provider, the protector, the dream partner on paper, and still watch her leave like none of it mattered. You can be the man who bent over backward, the guy who was always present, always replying, always forgiving, always fixing, yet still be replaced by the man who did none of that but sparked an emotional reaction. Because to her, feelings are the true currency of connection. Logic doesn't define her loyalty. Emotional intensity does. And if your presence stops making her feel alive, valued, desired, or thrilled, she will drift. Maybe not physically at first, but emotionally she's already gone. This is why you see men who treat women like royalty end up betrayed by guys who barely put in effort. It's not that women want mistreatment, it's that the emotional rush they get from unpredictability, confidence, and raw masculine energy often outweighs the comfort of consistency. And if your stability lacks depth, if your kindness lacks masculine strength, then no matter how perfect you are on paper, she'll emotionally detach. Because women aren't loyal to deeds, they're loyal to the energy you project and how it makes them feel about themselves. And here's the harsh reality. The more you overdo things just to be accepted, the less appealing you become. When your actions stem from fear of losing her, fear of upsetting her, fear of being alone, she picks up on it. And nothing repels the feminine faster than a man who gives out of insecurity. She doesn't crave your constant help. She craves your centeredness. She craves your strength. She wants to feel something real when she's with you. And if your worth is tied to your actions rather than your essence, you're already living on borrowed time. You could pay her expenses and still be disrespected. You could plan every date, put in endless effort, and still be ghosted. You could show up fully and still watch her invest in a man who gives her nothing but a thrill. Why? Because that thrill activates her emotions, and that's where her loyalty lies. Not in what you provide, but in what she feels. Women pursue the man who awakens their emotions, not the one who simply solves their problems. You can spend years trying to satisfy her, only to hear her say, "I just don't feel the same anymore." That's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to understand what truly keeps a woman invested. You have to stop believing that doing more equals being loved more. You must stop thinking loyalty is earned through overgiving. It's not. It's created through emotional polarity, through presence, through your energy. A woman connects through emotion. She stays where she feels intensity, passion, uncertainty, and growth. You can't buy that. You can't fake your way into it. You generate it by standing firmly in your masculine essence, unapologetically. Not by pleasing her, but by being fully and confidently yourself. The guys who constantly overcompensate, the ones who treat their girlfriend like a princess from day one, usually operate from fear. They want to lock her in before she loses interest. But here's the paradox: the more you try to secure her, the faster she'll test you. She'll start pulling back. She'll question why you're so eager. She'll grow restless. Because women don't want a servant. They want a man. A man who doesn't flinch. A man who leads with calm presence. A man who doesn't dump everything on the table like he's competing for approval. The man she remains loyal to isn't the one who's constantly available, it's the one who is emotionally sovereign. The one who is a mystery, a presence, a challenge. Not because he's playing games, but because he has direction. He has standards. He has self-respect. And most importantly, he isn't afraid to walk away if his value isn't honored. That's what pulls out her deepest loyalty. Not the things he does, but the way he makes her feel when he's around, safe, excited, curious, seen, all at once. You've got to stop confusing effort with value. Just because you did something generous doesn't mean it won her heart. Just because you showed up doesn't mean she feels bonded. Women don't connect to what makes sense, they connect to what stirs their emotions. You have to move her emotionally. That's what creates memories. That's what builds attachment. That's what makes her keep choosing you. Not because of what you gave, but because being near you makes her feel alive. Think about it, man. How often do you see the guy who gives the least get the strongest devotion? It seems illogical, but it makes perfect sense once you realize women stay loyal to emotional experiences, not checklists. The guy who's unpredictable, who makes her laugh, who focuses on his own life, who isn't always trying to please, that man creates emotional waves. And emotional waves are addictive. She thinks about him. She craves his vibe. She feels butterflies. That's what fuels loyalty. That's what keeps her chasing. It's not about being nice. It's about being impactful. That doesn't mean you mistreat women. It doesn't mean you go cold or disrespectful. It means you stop relying on deeds and start cultivating presence, strength, and direction. You become the man who gives when he chooses, not when he needs approval. The man who can walk away. The man who doesn't over-explain. The man who holds frame when tested. That's when she feels something real. That's when she respects you. Because the man she's loyal to is the one who doesn't crumble. The one who doesn't bend his principles just to keep peace. The one who can handle her emotions without losing his balance. That man feels like a rock in her storm. He's not flawless, but he's steady. He's grounded. And because of that, he becomes her constant even when everything else is chaos. That's what builds long-term loyalty, emotional consistency, not transactional deeds. If she's with you for what you do, she'll leave when someone else does more. But if she's with you for how you make her feel, no amount of gifts or money from another man can replace that. Most men don't see this. They compete through external effort. But loyalty isn't earned with things. It's sustained through emotional connection. An emotional connection is born from grounded masculine energy, not favors, not endless effort, but presence, purpose, and strength. Women aren't impressed by effort without depth. You can write poems, plan dates, send texts every morning, but if she doesn't feel tension, mystery, excitement, she'll feel suffocated. Not because you're wrong, but because you're overdoing what doesn't actually move her. Real attraction thrives on polarity. And polarity only exists when you stay in your masculine energy, calm, confident, unshaken, not proving your worth, but embodying it. If you take only one lesson from this, let it be this: a woman's loyalty isn't to your actions, it's to her emotions. If you can consistently make her feel safe, feminine, desired, emotionally alive, she will chase, commit, and respect you. But the moment you start relying on doing instead of being, the energy shifts. You become predictable, passive, and less magnetic. It may not seem fair, but it's how emotions work. You either embrace it and lead, or ignore it and get blindsided. So stop trying to impress her. Stop trying to buy her love with attention, gifts, or favors. Stop believing devotion works like reward points. Start focusing on your frame, your purpose, your presence. Let your energy speak louder than your words. Let your silence create more weight than your efforts. Let your strength carve out the space where her loyalty grows naturally. You don't win her by doing more. You win her by standing taller. This is where most men collapse. They confuse loyalty with obligation. They think, after all I've done, how could she leave? But that's not how her mind works. She doesn't count your efforts. She measures how she feels with you now. That's why she can forget history so quickly, because her emotions live in the present. So you must stay emotionally present. Don't cling to the past. Don't guilt her into staying. Just be the man who makes her feel something genuine. That's how you keep her. The man who understands this truth becomes untouchable. He stops overgiving. He stops chasing. He stops letting female attention control him. Instead, he builds himself. His frame becomes solid. His life magnetic. His energy addictive. And women sense it. They admire it. They are drawn to it. Not because of his deeds, but because of his essence. That's the kind of man women stay loyal to even when life gets tough. So the next time you catch yourself wondering why she's drifting despite everything you've done, pause. Stop chasing. Look at the emotional reality. Have you been giving from strength or from need? Have you been leading with purpose or with performance? Are you her source of emotional impact or just her caretaker? Be honest. And then, realign with your core. That's your real power. Because at the end of the day, women don't care what you do for them. They care how they feel around you. So make her feel something authentic. Not by losing yourself in her, but by standing so firmly in who you are that she never wants to let go. That's how you create loyalty. Not by chasing it, but by becoming the man who naturally inspires it.